Um, I hope y'all can hear me in this video. I'm not sure if I should keep my glasses on or take them off because of the glare, but I don't want to worry too much about my appearance in this video because I feel like, or at least I feel a conviction in regards to making a video about my, supernatural or spiritual experiences. No, I'm not getting on here and telling you all, oh, I met Jesus or I met Yeshua. Like, I wish. I wish, but what I will say is this. I feel like I might have missed out on an encounter with Yeshua because back in 2016, when I was living at my mom's, I remember lying on my back and I was like kind of, I wasn't fully asleep, but I was like, in and out, like I was about to, enter dreamland, if you will. And I remember my eyes were closed, but it's as if there was a light that was getting brighter, hovered above me. And then I gradually saw, a very radiant, silhouette of a man that got slightly clearer, but it startled me, and I woke up before I could even, lay eyes on who, this man was. I remember the beard, and I remember, the hair, but I don't remember all the details, but I just remember he had a straight face, like, I just remember he wasn't smiling, his face was just kind of, blank, like one of those faces where you can't tell if a person's mad or that's just, or if that's their resting, what face. But at that time I was having encounters. Like I made a video prior to this one about those encounters. I just haven't gotten around to editing and uploading, but now's the time because I feel like with all the things that's, being posted about on social media, whether it be IG, TikTok, Facebook, it's like, I need to, get to posting about these things. First of all, my name is IKEA, like the store. I'm 31. I'll be 32 December the 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. I have 2 children, a boy and a girl. I'm from Florida, Orlando, Florida. I currently live in Georgia. Me, my mother, and my brother moved to Georgia back in 2008 because of a situation that could have potentially been fatal in Florida between my mother and my stepfather. Won't go into that in this video. I might in the future if I feel led to. I'm not too, I like to share things about myself, but when it comes to sharing things publicly, I have to be discerning, because not everybody, you know, has the best intention, you know, and what you say can and will be held against you. You know, even the Bible says, you know, every word that you speak can, you know, can testify against you. So, you know, and I'm it's a daily thing. I have to watch the words in my mouth. Whether I'm in traffic driving and somebody does something to tick me off, you know, I have to, you know, learn to bridle my tongue. Because boy, driving will test your flesh in a heartbeat. It will. And for the most part, I am quiet. You know, I don't like to talk a lot. I don't. You know. And I think I started to think that maybe that is something that Yahweh has put in me, God. You know, I try to address people by their names. I would like to address our Creator by His name, you know, or like refer to Him by His name, you know. Same with Yeshua, you know. All this time we've been calling Him Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. That ain't even His name. Like, come on. Like, I wouldn't want somebody walking around calling me Ike or Ika or Ika when that's not my, first of all, ill. You know, like, call me by my name, okay? You know, that's a sign of at least you know of me, you know. But forgive me if I, you know, kind of ramble in this video. You know, like I want to get re-familiar with recording videos. It's been a minute since I've like recorded videos like on the regular, you know. Like, I've made some videos before, you know, 2016, even what year was it? I think 2015, 2016. You know, I would make videos. That was because I wanted to, you know, I wanted to be a content creator, but I also wanted to, you know, call myself glorifying God with my content. I still want to do that, but at the same time, it's really, truthfully, it's like I don't trust myself, because it's like, okay, what are my motives? You know, do I hope to get, you know, a bunch of messing up with my words, followers, followers, the thing about it is this: whenever I'm asked a question, whether I'm asking myself or if someone else asks me a question, some answers are more intricate than a yes or no, you know, and that's just what it is, you know. I mean, let's just something simple as, okay, is 1 + 1 2? Yeah. Unless that person is trying to, you know, prove a point that requires an intricate answer. But anyway, like, see, there I go, rambling. But I forgot what I even asked myself. Yeah, did I want a bunch of followers? Yes, but not because I care for being famous or super well known. Is so that people watch my stuff, you know. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that feels that way. Like, I'm pretty sure there are content creators out there who want people to watch their stuff, but they don't really want to, they don't want too many people, you know, knowing about them, you know. Because, you know, people, you know, there's people who research better than the CIA, you know, they want to know too much about you. And to be honest, it's like, I'm not really where I want to be in life right now. I can be transparent about that. I'm not where I want to be in life. You know, I've made, you know, countless bad decisions, you know, because like I said in my previous video, I don't like to use the term mistakes. I feel like a mistake is when I feel like when you make a mistake, you make it out of, you know, pure ignorance, you know, like you had no idea, you did not see the consequences coming. A bad decision is when, you know, you sort of take a chance on a decision you just made, you know, like it'll be alright, you know, it won't be that bad if things go left. But you know, like you kind of knew something was coming. You just thought you could handle it, but you know, it turns out you know, you can't really. So I've made countless bad decisions, you know. I was hoping, well, not hoping, I told myself that after I had my daughter, who was about to be 11, I told myself that the next child that I have, I'm gonna be married. I didn't do my due diligence to make sure that that happened first before having my second child in the year 2020. So now I'm struggling, barely getting by, trying to keep things afloat, you know. I feel like I need lots of help. I do, you know, because I mean, being a parent is not something that it's not a one person job. It wasn't made to be, you know. It really takes a village, but at the least it takes both parents. But I won't get too deep into that in this video because I'm already, let's just say, I didn't have the best night, you know. It's been one of those nights where bump heads with you know, my son's father, but you know, won't go into that. What I will say is this: 2 scriptures come to mind. Don't go to bed. No, don't let. How did that one go? Don't go to sleep angry, basically, paraphrasing. Don't go to sleep angry. And then there's another scripture: be angry and sin not. Be angry and sin not, but also don't go to bed asleep. I mean, don't go to bed angry. It's 2:00 a.m. I gotta get up at around 6 a.m. to take my daughter to school. It's 2 a.m. and I am pissed. Matter of fact, no, not pissed. I am, it's like I feel multiple emotions, all negative, but my thing is, I want to improve, you know, as far as the way I behave. You know, I want to bear good fruit. However, I feel like the enemy plays with my mind more than I realize. whenever I get into it with someone, or if I feel something negative about someone, the first thing I try to do is watch how I conduct myself. Watch how I conduct myself. You know, because if I lash out, if I clap back, I'm gonna feel regret. Because I'm gonna feel like I just failed the test. Like, oh shoot, that was a test I just failed. And then the second thing is this person justified in what they're saying or doing against me? And what I come to realize is, well, truthfully, I'll be feeling like there needs to be a third person. If I have issues with somebody, like, or if I have a toxic relationship with somebody, there needs to be counseling. Because when I'm feeling distressed, it's like my common sense, my cognitive is like it shuts down nearly, or it's in a battle, it's raging war, and it's like I can't think straight. So the best response is to remain silent, be quiet. It's best to do that when you are angry or when you're just overwhelmed with emotion. It's like, because if you respond 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna respond in a way that pleases the Most High. And that's what I care about, pleasing the Most High. I know it's, kind of hypocritical, like, oh, how are you gonna say that you trying to please the Most High, but you fell into all kinds of sin? Well, the best answer to that is because I'm still human at the end of the day. Now, I mean, there are some, like, everyone's different. Every believer is different. Everyone has their struggle. Everyone has their weakness. Matter of fact, everyone has multiple weaknesses. I may succeed and prevail in one area, but then fail in another area. I'm getting to a point where I'm trying to be consistent when it comes to being obedient. Like a person who is on drugs. It's like, when I hear people talk about how they've been years clean, saying that's how many, like, oh, I've been 10 years clean, I've been 20 years clean. You know how many days that is of having to fight that addiction and not being certain that they're going to, not being certain that they're going to succeed the next day. Like, oh, I went 1, 2, 3 days, I went a whole week without smoking crack. But then life hits you. They get stressed, they get overwhelmed, or whatever it is that triggers them to do whatever hardcore drug that is, and then boom, or they just, those moments where you just really battling to the point where you gotta, like, really keep yourself busy. You gotta, like, talk to yourself, coach yourself, to the point where you can't hear nothing else because you having a whole conversation in your head about not relapsing. It's like that with me. I got to have a whole conversation with myself. If I'm a really, really conduct myself in the way that God wants me to, not to clap back at, whatever person. And then, then whatever negative feeling that I'm feeling can subside, or, minimize, for the moment. But then I go to bed, wake up, it's fresh on my mind again. Like, this blanking got the nerve to sit up here and say that to me. Or, you know, anything like that. But it's like, okay, gotta fight it all over again. Gotta fight it all over again. But it's like, and here's the thing, you can be, you know, battling yourself and conducting yourself the best way you can, and this person could, you know, still be pushing your buttons. Just push, just constantly pushing. And it's like, okay, I don't really have a dog in this fight. You know, all I have is, all the best I can do is not respond. You know, and it could be one of those things where I'm just now realizing that I feel like I'm slowly getting into something I said I wasn't even gonna. That's how heavy it is on my mind right now. Like, this video wasn't even supposed to be about that. You know. Goodness. Boy. Life is hard. And truth is, a lot of us were not prepared. We were not properly prepared for adulthood. I know I wasn't. I barely graduated high school. Barely. And I don't know how this is going to come off, because a lot of Christians condemn this. But in 11th grade, I started smoking weed. Marijuana. Mary J. Ganja, or whatever you want to call it, reefer. that's how the old folk, you know, that's what the old folk call it, reefer. Smoking that reefer. But it helped me in the 11th grade. I've had reading comprehension problems, but it was more so of my brain I just couldn't soak in what I was reading. I could read words. Put a book in front of me, I can tell you what it says. Sally went to the store to buy groceries. You know, well, okay, that's a little bit too simple. If I had to read a whole paragraph, my mind would be somewhere. Actually, it wasn't that my mind was in La La Land. I was just too self-aware. I was thinking about how I sound when I read. I was thinking about, like, if there was a boy in my classroom that I may have had a crush on, you know, I'm thinking about what he might be thinking about how I sound when I read. Or I might be thinking about, you know, what's they serving for lunch. You know, my brain would not be on what it is that I couldn't focus and concentrate. My brain is not on what I'm reading. I'm not processing the words that I'm reading. But one day I went to school. You know, I had a joint, you know, before I went to school. And I remember I think it was history class or something like that. There was an assignment that I had to do, you know, concerning that book. You know, that requires a lot of critical thinking skills, like when it comes to history and social studies. The questions that you have to answer requires a lot of critical thinking. How can I answer a critical thinking question if I can't even retain or process what it is that I'm reading? But I went to school one day, I was feeling good. You know, I was like, yeah, let's do this. You know, I'm ready to learn. Crack open that book, and like, it's almost like it stood out to me, like, wow. You know, I was reading it as if I was watching a video, you know, and it just gave me so much confidence. You know, I felt like, you know, I can finally read, I can finally understand, you know, because I never felt smart. You know, I've always felt like I was just more goofy and playful. You know, I loved art, I loved PE, but anything that involved reading. When I was in elementary school, they had me in remedial reading classes, you know. Boy. But yeah, but I mean, during 12th grade, um, I remember there was this big test. I forget what it's called. Because in Florida, we had FCAT, but I forget what they call it here in Georgia. But I studied with this Indian boy in my class because I noticed, he's the smartest one in class. Typically, Asians are smarter. Just saying. Not saying that all of us black folk is dumb. No. But in that class at that time, I think it was math class, I remember he was nice enough, he was kind enough to, tutor me, whatnot. So, but it helped. It helped. I remember what he showed me with the I forget which almond tree it was, or was it Pythagoras theorem? I don't know. It's been so many years, but I do want to get sharp again on my, math and reading and all that stuff. And I know it's embarrassing to say it, at the age of 31 that you don't, but life. That's all I can say. Life. When life hits you, is like all you know is, okay, I gotta, make money so I can pay these bills, so I can eat the foods that I want to eat, so I can feed these kids, so I can buy us what we need, boy. And then, there's it comes with a lot of criticism. Boy. It seems as though everyone has something to say, but so little help. Yeah. So little help. You ain't got this. You ain't got that. Oh, when you gonna get this? When you gonna get that? When I can. Because life is not just merely get up and do. Like, it takes energy, it takes, motivation. But when you feel like, and it, like, spiritual warfare, it's hard to talk to a lot of people in my life. Like, I appreciate encountering people who have had encounters spiritually, because they understand, or they can understand or relate to what it is that you're going through. They understand spiritual warfare. They understand the possibility of, people trying to put hexes on you or whatever. They understand, how overwhelming life really is. It's not just about, getting up and go get. That's another thing too. Like, throughout my 20s, or matter of fact, not even, it wasn't even hearing this, what I'm about to say, throughout my 20s, but I would hear people say, go and get a job. Do you go and get a job, or do you go and apply yourself to get hired? Right? Matter of fact, you don't go and get anything. You go and you get dressed for the interview. You go and you get the phone and call them. You go and you get an application. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how a lot of people are going to feel about this, but I personally feel, matter of fact, scratch that. I've prayed about getting a job, throughout my 20s. Can't remember how many times, but I remember the one final time I prayed, I said, God, do you want me working? Because at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm living out here in this town with no public transportation. I have a daughter. She's going to need daycare. I'm going to need transportation to get her to daycare and to get back and forth, get to work, from work, to pick her up, and then, go back to where I was living. all people could think about is get a job, get a job, get a job, get a job, get a job. I started questioning myself. I'm like, am I missing something? Because get the job and forget everything else don't make sense. So it's things like that would happen, and I would just wonder to myself, like, am I tripping? Or is this clear signs that God don't want me working right now? When I prayed and asked God, do you want me working? I get a notification on my phone from a woman. I don't want to call her a girl because obviously we're adults, but a woman at the time who I was subscribed to, and she was talking about how God didn't want her working for a period of time. I'm like, but I felt like when I say it, people think, oh, she just lazy, she just don't want to work, she just wants somebody to take care of her, da 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 da. Who don't want their own money? Who don't want to make money? I mean, and the thing about it is this. I've been brought up, hearing our kid need to learn how to take care of our kid. Don't depend on no man. Don't. And I get that, because God forbid, a man turn on a woman, or God forbid a man, turns out he's abusive, or God forbid something up and happens to him. I gotta, know how to, get what I need to get, whatever resources I need to get for myself and my children. I get that. But to program a woman to not want to, or to not want messing up again, to program or to keep jamming in a woman's head to not let a man take care of her, it's like, it makes you question, what spirit is that woman operating under? Like, what is the motive there? Because I see nothing wrong with a woman, getting married, and that's the thing there. Like, as a society, we have gotten so far from, God's order. We have, because it's like marriages I would have to write this down and make a whole nother video about it, because I'd be thinking about these things to myself, really be, talking to myself about these situations. But I really should be recording videos, about these things, about, my perspective on these things, because it's so much that I got to say about these things, like, for real. But yes, growing up, I always heard IKEA need to learn how to take care of IKEA, and it's not that in itself is bad, but it's like it kind of wires your brain, or programs your brain to not want to follow a man's lead. Yeah. And not only that, it could kind of program or wire your brain to pick a certain type of dude that does not know how to lead, who does not, but regardless, when you leave God out of the equation, not even just telling, someone don't depend on a man. It's like, if you don't tell them to depend on God, or you don't have the wherewithal to tell them to depend on God, then you become so, you start to think in a way that's independent, not just from a man, but from God too. So, I'm still learning what it means to trust God. Like, what am I trusting him for, really? What is it that I'm supposed to trust him with? What are these promises that people keep talking about? Oh, remember God's promises. Okay, The one I can think of is he'll never leave or forsake me. But we could always leave and forsake him through our disobedience. So like I said, y'all, I'm still learning. You know. But, the things that I share, on my social media, those are typically things that I either know or I'm just discovering this and I'm sharing with y'all like what I'm just now learning, So sorry, I hearing, car doors and whatnot, so I'm just, keeping a watch over my surroundings. But yeah, I can't say that I, was set on the direction that this video was going, but like I said, this is kind of like a ramble. It's partly, me reintroducing myself and talking about, some of my, spiritual experiences, and just kind of like flowing with whatever is mentioned, However, yes, I have seen apparitions before, as some call them, or spirits. I know they exist, That's how I knew that God was real. Because if demons are real, then that means angels are real. And if demons and angels are real, then guess who else is real? God. Now, when it comes to what I know about God, I've never had a near-death experience. I never had a heaven visitation nor a hell visitation. I would rather the first one. But I listen to different people, whether on the internet or in person, where they talk about their encounters with God. Some things, don't some it's like this. Some things make sense, but it's like this here. It's like, okay, if that makes sense, then that changes what's been written. Or like, for prime example, someone told me, and I think I've heard this before, but prior to this person telling me this, they said that Yeshua was not crucified, he was hung on a tree. So with that being said, why would there be scriptures in the Bible saying crucify your flesh? Where would that reference even come from? Crucify your flesh. Pick up your cross and carry it. You can't pick up a tree and carry it. You can pick up a rope, but I don't think Yeshua would tell us to pick up our ropes and hang ourselves. It wouldn't make sense. Pick up your cross and carrying it. We understand that reference. That means die to your flesh. That means, don't be out here living according to fleshly pleasures. Don't live to please yourself all the time. Fast when you need to. Abstain from sexual immorality, fornication, and adultery, and all those things, right? But if Yeshua was hung on a tree, that kind of cancels that, crucifying the flesh thing. So it's like you gotta be careful, when it comes to, hearing people's encounters, but at the same time. And then there's some people out here talking about oh, I've met Jesus, and that's not even his real name. His name is Yeshua. But he's not so special. He's just like us. He just kind of, his message was to tap into your high frequency and your Christ consciousness. If that's the case, then why is it that people who have had, there are people who have actually died, been pronounced dead, who went to hell and said, I went to hell because I did not know Jesus. Make it make sense, you know. So, and then when I listen to those people, it's like they sound so genuine. They sound, you know, they sound really genuine, you know, to the point where it's like, I don't think they're lying, but either they lying or they've been lied to, you know. It's, you know what I'm saying? So, and all I can go based off is my own experiences, which, you know, like I said, I've never had a heaven visitation. You know, Yeshua has never come to me and say, hey, I'm Yeshua, you know. I hear talking fine. But anyway, that's besides the point. That's besides the point. I even heard he's married to Mary Magdalene. Like, so many things that I've heard, you know. So I'm going off what I hear and comparing it to what I've already experienced and what I've read in the Bible, and just trying to like piece it all together, you know, make it make sense. I don't know why I did that. So that's why when people be talking about the rapture, you got to really think, like, okay, what if you're inside your home? What if the kids are asleep? You know, because it don't have to be at nighttime. You know what I'm saying? Even in the daytime, like, people, we be asleep. I'll be asleep. The kids might be asleep taking a nap, you know, or, you know, it could be nap time, you know, at school. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, imagine, okay, if the kids are napping in school and the rapture happens, you know, or better yet, the time it is here is another time, like in Africa, Nigeria, like it's, you know, like 6 hours ahead or something like that. So I think it's about 8 a.m. over there or something like that. I don't know, I could be wrong. So if every eye is gonna see, you know, the rapture at one time, that means it's gonna be daytime in one area, nighttime in another area. So it's like, how does it work? How does it work? You know, if, you know, you know. And then on top of that, I feel like if anybody was worthy of being raptured, it was the first century church. Paul and them. Paul, Peter, John, Luke, all them. I feel like they were more worthy of being raptured than us. I mean, let's be real. They were more worthy then. They knew the truth. You know what I'm saying? The biblical times, they were close. I feel they were closer to God than we are today. Especially us here in America. Oh, don't even get me started. We too prideful here. We too arrogant. We think we untouchable. I'm an American. Oh. I was thinking this to myself earlier, like, if, like, God forbid, like, you know, there's all this talk about alien invasion, right? I can see it now. It's gonna be girls twerking all on the UFOs. They're gonna be twerking all on the aliens and the UFOs. Dudes record themselves all, hey, yeah. This, I'm here with my twin. They probably be calling the aliens they twin. Yeah, we turned up with the aliens. Y'all know it. y'all know it's gonna be on World Star and everything. Oh boy. Judgment Day. All the Karens. I'm calling my lawyer. Okay. What do you mean my name is not in the book of life? Let me call my lawyer. Like, I don't know what else to say really. All I know is I'm gonna be uploading more videos. I'm gonna try to get more structured, or you know, what's the word I want to use? Like, I want to make my videos specific, so that way, anybody, who subscribes to my channel, if they want to look for something, or try to reference something that I said, they know which specific ones to go to, so that way they don't have to like, zoom all throughout the video to find, something that I said, because that's how I am. I'll be on YouTube and I'll be like, man, what video was that when so-and-so said such and such? Now I gotta go through each video to find the specific, so I will try to make sure, I title the video, put specific titles or whatever, and maybe put the chapters, so that way, y'all can, find what you need to find. I'm trying to think whether or not I should make videos on specific topics. But my thing is this: I want to be careful with speaking on other people's situations, whether they be celebrities or public figures or whatnot, because I don't want to gossip. I won't say that I never gossip. No. It's my thing is like the things that, like I said, things that Yahweh, His word specifically calls out. I want to do well with making sure I don't do those. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if I don't know nothing else, I at least want to say, okay, well, Yahweh, I lived according to this word, or I repented after repentance. I've lived according to this word. Now I do hope that there's still grace for me, because I have been guilty of willful sin, knowing that certain things is, wrong or condemned in the Bible, and then doing it because I'm weak. I'm weak, but I'm, get stronger, fasting, praying, trying to stay in His word, and recording these videos like I'm doing now. Well, this video, I'm not saying these videos, but yeah. So, on that note, till next time, good night.